What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about Canadian news because, as an American, I never get to hear about Canadian news here in the United States. So today, I'd like to take some time to learn about the current news and events happening in Canada that I otherwise would never get to hear about. So let's take a look, starting with got a threatening email with a photo of your house. Police warn it's a scam. Oh my god, these scams are getting out of control. Although I have to admit, I've never heard of this before. Is this a purely Canadian scam going on? You get an email with a photo of your house, and what are they asking for? The police have received 20 reports of email scams in the last week. What do they do exactly? It's kind of interesting to hear about what the scam is, because some of these can be kind of crazy. Scott Ross became suspicious of a scam. He received a lengthy email from an unknown sender claiming to have access to his online browsing data, personal photographs, and his phone number, information the person would release if he didn't pay him $2,000. But Ross felt his face go numb when he saw a photo of his house at the bottom of the email. Wow, so is that to like intimidate you? That's to scare you. Putting a picture of your home, like I know where you live. I know your deepest, darkest secrets. All your personal information. It's basically blackmail. Gosh, that's a horrible scam. Like, as in, like dark and evil. Well, aren't all scams evil? Yeah, that's true. But this one in particular, because it's supposed to make you very, very scared and maybe lose any logical reasoning that the ability to stop and think about, oh, is this a scam? That becomes very difficult when you get emotional, and I think that's what they're playing on here, trying to scare you. When someone sends a picture of your house, yeah, that's definitely very disconcerting. I've heard of crazy scams now with AI where people will get samples of your relative's voice and then use AI to reproduce like your brother or your son's voice. And then they'll call you and it will sound like your son is calling you, asking for help, asking for money to bail them out of prison or something crazy. I need money. I just got in a car crash. And it will sound like someone you know is calling you, asking for money. It's crazy. It's insane. Like what the AI can do with. Not that I'm saying you should suspect all your phone calls are robots, but that just reminds me of how crazy scams are getting, honestly. What else in Canadian news? At the risk of going down this rabbit hole far too much. Well, what else is going on in Canada? The scandal that shocked Parliament in the spring is slowly fading from memory. What scandal shocked the Canadian Parliament? I don't know what this is referring to. A claim that unnamed parliamentarians have been compromised by foreign states has slipped off Ottawa's radar. What? I mean, here in America, the accusation is always that there's Russian interference, Russian influence and disinformation, affecting the candidates. And that's the big one here in the United States. Is that what we're getting at about the Canadian Parliament? That parliamentarians are being compromised by other nations? Or for a few weeks in June, this is like way earlier this year, concerns about unnamed MPs being compromised by foreign states. So this is just like a story that kind of got lost. Like, did Canadians really care about this for like a month? And then, like most things in the news, enough time goes by and you just kind of forget about it. That's disconcerting. But yeah, obviously you have to be accurate in if you're going to make such a bold accusation. You obviously need proof. Maybe there wasn't enough proof to substantiate these claims, but those are pretty bold claims right there. Superbugs could kill 39 million people. Oh, God. Oh, no. By 2050. That's the entire Canadian population, right? About 39 million people. Superbugs. Well, we're all going to die to superbugs in 30 years, so, you know, hang on tight till then, I guess. What's the point of this? Here's what Canadian survivors, doctors say should change? Huh? Woman with superbug infection likens her pain to campfire on her leg. Are you kidding me? This is what we don't just have to die by superbugs. We have to feel like our legs are on fire too? This is terrible. The future stinks, man. Last summer, the Toronto woman who worked 60-hour weeks, my God, suddenly needed round-the-clock care from recovering from sepsis. Okay. It deprived her heart and kidneys of blood and oxygen, had low blood pressure. They had to cut out her calf muscle and tendons to help save her life. What? What is this? Okay, that is horrible and kind of terrifying to read. What's the superbugs? Bacteria, usually harmless. But antimicrobial resistance occurs when the germs that can cause infection develop the ability to evade antibiotics. So there are bacteria and germs that are getting resistant to antibiotics just as time goes on that are going to kill 39 million people. Right. Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of making a joke out of this because it's like, is this true? If it's true, like it's too much to process. It's beyond horrible. And hopefully something can be done. I mean, is there any solution to this? I don't know. I already had to exit out of that article because it was stressing me out so much. Let's keep going here. Let's scroll down a bit to get the full week of Canadian news here. Um, Officer didn't charge husband accused of murder after victim's plea over alleged knife incident in 2013. What? What? I'm not even sure what I just read. An officer didn't charge a murderer accused because the victim didn't want her to. Oh, the victim didn't want to charge the murderer? How can the victim be there if it was a murder? Wouldn't they be too murdered? They'd be murdered. How could they be part of the trial? It must be somebody related to the murder victim. Didn't even want to press charges. That's very abnormal, isn't it? What? CTV says staffers who altered Poilievre clip no longer work for their news. Wow. This, I mean, talking about AI a little bit earlier, this is kind of in the same vein. Altering video footage very realistically. I don't know if that's what happened, but basically, this is something that's happened in America as well, where footage of political candidates has been altered, which is very, very, very dangerous, of course. When people trust photos and video, and we kind of assume them to be true and accurate. When that's no longer the case, yeah, these people should definitely be fired, and they were. They altered a Poilievre clip. Um, I wonder what they did exactly. CTV dropped 2 members after an altered clip of Pierre Poilievre went to air. Wow. Yeah, that's unfortunate. No matter who the person is, no matter what political candidate, like showing altered footage or doctored footage is you hate to see that happen because it's it just is literally like the wrong information and it's kind of scary. What else do we have here? Oh, scroll down a little bit more here. A lithium battery fire sent toxic gas over Montreal. Oh my God. Are we ready for such emergencies? I don't know. I don't know if we're ready for any of this stuff. The superbugs, the AI, the lithium battery fires, gas over Montreal. High levels of hydrogen fluoride can cause chemical burns. Oh my God, this is in Montreal? Residents, chemists, firefighters are raising concerns about prevention and preparedness after 15,000 kilograms of lithium batteries inside a shipping container caught fire at the port of Montreal. Wow, at 6 I started smelling chemicals. Someone who lives 2 kilometers away from the fire. Oh my God, they were inhaling lithium battery chemical fires into their lungs. Oh my God. And I've heard it's very, very difficult to put out electrical battery fires. Very, very difficult. Okay. Let's keep going. This is pretty, I don't know, disturbing so far. Any good news this week? I don't know. Let's see. British Columbian man sentenced for death threat against Richmond MP. Yeah, you hate to see it. You hate to see the political violence. Certainly, becoming more and more common here in America, unfortunately. Or at least the threats of violence. Yeah. And violence. Yeah. Crown to seek adult sentence for the Saskatoon High School fire attack. Oh, we heard about this a week or two ago in the news video that I did. In a Saskatoon high school, a girl set another girl on fire. Is this a follow-up? They're seeking an adult sentence? Yeah, honestly, you should be sentenced pretty harshly for setting someone on fire, shouldn't you? The 14-year-old girl told Saskatoon police voices told her to do these things. Huh. Well, that's always tricky, isn't it, if they have mental illness? Well, hopefully that girl can get the help that she needs. Or, whatever the Canadian justice system determines, I suppose. That's always difficult, though, if it's a mentally ill person who's committing the crime, like how exactly do you handle that? Yeah, that's an interesting update. Let's keep going here. Oh, man. Oh. Anything else? There's a Port of Montreal dock workers threatened 3-day strike. Port of Montreal, is that because of the battery chemical fire? They're going to go on strike? Police in northeastern Ontario respond to 100 inmate partner violence calls a week. What? 100 intimate inmate. Intimate. This is northeastern Ontario responding to over 100 intimate partner violence calls. Oh God. This is terrible. I was like, inmates, like what? The inmates have escaped and they're all over Ontario? It's like, no. But just as bad, this is like domestic violence? Like 100 a week, did we say? Every week. What's going on in northeastern Ontario? This is terrible. High priority calls are when a person is in immediate danger from an intimate partner. What? Why? IPV is declared an epidemic. What? Why is this happening? Why so many? What? I'm not sure they say why. They're just trying to raise awareness about this. What? Oh my God. Oh my. Dear goodness. Let's keep going here. I want to squeeze as much news as I can into this video. No time to stop, no matter how disturbing. Um, After first non-confidence motion failed, Polivre is back with another one. Is this has something to do with causing an election in Canada, right? I'm trying to understand this. This latest attempt to bring down the government is also likely to fail. So in Canada, you can put forward non-confidence motions, and if those pass, you get an election, basically. I think. And these are just failing. Okay. The new motion calls for MPs to trigger a federal election because home prices and crime rates are up. So, in the Canadian government, you can basically just, if you have any grievance against the current prime minister, you can just like try to motion for a vote of no confidence. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Sounds like it's not happening, though. Not happening. What else do we have here? Oh, this southwestern Ontario town lost $140,000 on a Lego exhibit. Okay, I shouldn't laugh. That's sad in its own way. Get therapy or pay rent? Millennials and Gen Z are making hard choices when it comes to mental health. Dear God. Oh my. Yeah. When people are in survival mode, paying for therapy is seen as a luxury. Get therapy or get rent? What a freaking world we live in. This is absolutely something I would not be surprised to see this headline in America. Seems like a lot of younger Canadians are struggling with the same thing. The newer generations of Canadians and Americans having trouble, with inflation, with rising house and rent prices. I think Canada is even getting it a lot worse. The housing prices skyrocketing and, people can't get homes anymore. It's a bit sad. Now they can't even get therapy. They're sad because life doesn't seem as easy or as good or a number of reasons. And they got to choose between rent and therapy. Geez, I think this is like an opinion piece. Interesting, though, just for me to kind of compare the social attitudes in Canada versus America here. Wow. Wow. Any other Canadian news? Yogurt from Costco, Canada, has been recalled for the second time over health concerns. Really? Yogurt. Wasn't there a listeria risk in some of the milk in Canada? Affected yogurt may contain a type of yeast that could cause illness for some immunocompromised. Yogurt from Costco. So this is just Costco Canada. We have Costco in America. Somehow our yogurt is untouched, probably because ours is so filled with extra preservatives and sugars and stuff. Even the bad bacteria can't survive in our yogurt. But it may contain a type of yeast. Really? A recall of yogurt in Canada? Be careful out there, Canadians. Oh my goodness. Anything else? On The Late Show, Stephen Colbert, Trudeau says he understands Canadian frustration. What is the Canadian frustration right now? What does he understand? Frustration from Canadians struggling with the cost of living. That seems to be the biggest issue in Canada right now, the cost of living. It's a really tough time in Canada right now. People are hurting. People are having trouble paying for groceries, rent, filling up the tank. We've lost some ground over the past decades on building houses. The housing crisis is a little sharper. People are looking at change. But Canada's economic outlook is slightly more positive than the United States. Really? On a macro level. But you don't feel it when you're buying groceries. Indeed. indeed, it does take a long time for these sorts of things to fix. I don't know what the Canadian government is doing. Like, of course, here in America, our Federal Reserve is well, now lowering interest rates. We were raising them and doing quantitative easing or tightening and all that stuff, and to try to battle inflation here. And I think Canada is probably doing a similar sort of thing. But it takes time. Hard to suffer for, it's hard to tell the people of your country, well, just suffer for a few years while this all sorts itself out. It's not easy to be that guy who has to say that. But with that, I think that's a good place to stop for today. A lot of interesting Canadian news, a lot of stuff that, I don't hear about here in America. So I do enjoy taking a look at this and getting a bit more information on what's going on in Canada, good or bad. So anyway, I enjoyed this. If you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on any of this Canadian news or any other Canadian news I should know about that I may have missed. That'd be fantastic. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and learning about Canadian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.